Good. So, yeah, let's do a greeting and a check-in. And how has the week been for you since our last meditation and session? You might want like any further insights from last week. And how did the meditation and your integration of what happened depth charge for you this week? And anyone can start. Yeah, go ahead, Erica.
Yeah, I think I would just say, and is this coming through okay?
Yeah,
Using a mic I don't usually use. So, um, my dreams have been very vivid, which has been really interesting. And I also would note that I came into this class and experience with having made a really difficult decision, and there was still cleanup with that and some difficult layers. So I found that with the meditation focus, I was continually going back to what's aligned for me and, what's in integrity and what's my truth. And so it's just a good reminder, and I find that anytime writing is more in my practice, it's so, so helpful.
yeah.
So, yeah, so thank you for that. So it just felt like I had a little bit more support and grounding, just given what we did last week and integrating all that. So, yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, and we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that, you know, that aspect of our callings this week. Yeah. Anybody else? Um, I was going to ask about dreams. And by the way, Erica, if you want to share any of the dreams that came up for you, that's part of this too, is processing, you know, what is the unconscious telling you? Yeah.
I will share, yeah, they've been such a mix. Some were very unpleasant. So I actually had a traumatic experience just a year ago, and my body let me know. My body reminded me. I decided to foster a dog before I got my puppy, who's making appearances sometimes. And the dog attacked me.
Mhm.
And the rescue did not tell me that there was a bite history and there was all this stuff. And so I legit still have scars. But I started having a panic attack as I was going to sleep. And I was still, and I use Reiki and just some other tools that I have. But wow, I mean, just recalling it makes me catch my breath a little bit more. So that was just interesting. And then the other dreams were just, yeah, a lot of processing dreams and, like, why am I with these people? But I was working stuff out, is what I would sum it up as. And I know I'm not being very specific because some of it's just really, really interesting and odd, but a lot of it has been this work commitment that I left, and I'm feeling really good about knowing I did the right thing. And there's been some weird fallout. And I think I'm picking up on the energies from them and some of the ick that came out in the dreams. But the good thing is I feel safe and empowered, and I feel like I've worked something through um, when I do get up. I mean, it's just this like it's a magical kind of thing. So, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
if that's
Beautiful.
helpful, but yeah. So,
Hmm. And even the traumatic memories and the attack, when we look at it metaphorically,
mhm.
right? So and all of
Yeah,
that in the body, and those dreams are a way for our body to also process in a way that we might not be able to or give time to or airtime to in our waking life, right? So
yeah,
who really wants to sit there and go like, okay, I'm going to go back to the dog attack
right,
now and
right.
relive that trauma. So your unconscious will be able to help you to process that. So even when we have unpleasant dreams, we really want to look at the metaphor. We want to look at, am I feeling attacked in general, right?
Thanks for
Um,
connecting that. Yeah, that makes so much sense right now because I didn't even, and that makes so much sense because there was, yeah, not to that degree, but yeah, I mean, I was bitten in my face. I mean, it was just it was really a bad situation. And so this situation could have probably been worse, but it's also reminding me like, I don't need this anymore in my life. I mean, it's all a lesson and we take things from it, but thank you for connecting that piece, Rachel, because yeah, that's no wonder. And I mean, the panic that came up, I mean, I legit could feel I couldn't breathe all of a sudden. And yeah, so very
Yeah.
interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's easy for us to start to attach um the specifics of what happened and latch on to them. But when
Yeah.
we realize our core being, our highest self, wants us to be balanced and wants us to be in alignment. So when we're given something that is frightening, we're just being asked to look at it as non-judgmentally as we can. And so, yeah, so when we look at the metaphor, because our unconscious doesn't speak English or whatever
Yeah.
language is our native language, right? It just speaks in image and feeling. So yeah, where are you being attacked? And the face and the arm, these are intimate and functional parts of our body. So where are you being attacked in intimate ways, right? And so that can help us to step back from the terror of it. So anyone who's ever done psychedelics, when people have bad trips, it's usually you're seeing something that's frightening and you resist it,
Mm.
right? And so that resistance is what causes the bad trip. You're being presented with a negative image so that you can heal it. So when you dive into it, it will morph into something much more beautiful in a way, like sometimes literally beautiful, because you're saying, I'm ready. I'm ready to manage this. I'm ready to deal with this, you know?
Yeah.
And what do you have to teach me? Right? Yeah. So that's
Right.
important. Thank
It
you for
is.
sharing that because I know
Yeah.
that's not easy.
Yeah, and thank you for adding the connection point because of course, right? It's so amazing to me. Yeah, and just the beautiful gift of this of choosing to tune in and turn up our attention and awareness. So, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
grateful.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anybody else? And again, insights from last week or what you've experienced during the week, any time you've spent with your highest self as your buddy throughout the week? Anybody else?
I I can go.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
So I jumped off last week's call. I had a call with a client for an hour. My husband interrupted the call twice, which was really unusual. That doesn't normally happen, although he can forget things. But so I thought that was a little weird. And then when I got off the phone, there was a voicemail from my stepmother and my father had a heart episode. And the rest of the week was spent trying to get home to him. And I didn't because the weather was just insane and travel was insane. And James wasn't here. And there seems to be this continual theme of people that I'm very close with passing and my inability to get to them, and having to drop into spirit and understand we're all energy and let go of the rock. And so it was the entire week. It was so powerful that I'd had that experience. And I can't thank all of you enough for having let me share first and right away, because it gave me the opportunity to have like gone through that whole sharing and processing. And then as the week unfolded, as I kept trying to push this boulder up a hill that it was not going up, I just had to keep stepping to the side and letting it roll down and saying, whatever is going to be is going to be. And I just need, my godmother used to say, do you need to rose or do you need to flows? And I've spent the majority of my life rowing. And I'm realizing over this last 2 years that I am killing myself trying, trying, just trying. And I have got to stop. And this felt like this seismic thunderclap of you just got to surrender. You just need to step to the side of this boulder, let it go. And if it means I need to sit in the woods doing nothing for the rest of my life, that is what I need to do, because until inspired action and I'm being moved to do what I should be doing, that's what I need to be doing, is just sitting.
Beautiful. Yeah.
It was big. Thank you.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, that's hard. But you know, it's kind of what we were just saying with Erica, you know, it's just this is what is put in front of us. And knowing that we have the tools, for lack of a better word, but that trust, because you can feel it. Right, Lorena, you had that feeling like I have to let this boulder roll back down.
Yeah.
You've been rowing.
It's literally a physical choice. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can literally feel the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. What, just out of curiosity, what is it that you physically feel between the two, between trying to row or push the boulder up the hill and letting it go? What and where do you feel it?
So when I am orchestrating, when I am pushing, it feels like manipulating is the wrong word, because there's kind of like a malevolent energy to manipulation, but it feels like I am not working with anything. And it's hard because if you don't know how to do it, you don't know how to do it. So you're kind of like standing back, and I'm standing in front of the screen saying, do I book a flight or do I not book a flight? I don't know. What is rowing? What is flowing? Which of those things is it? And so there's this dynamic of sitting that higher self, watching as I'm kind of taking these kindergarten baby steps around trying to understand what that process is. And so there's like this, it's like pushing through tar. It just, there's darkness, there's oppression, it's heavy, just so heavy. There's constriction in my entire body. It's exhaustion. It's a level of exhaustion I have just never experienced before in my life. And then when I walk into that cathedral of a woods, just everything just like it's like air just like rushes into my lungs, and there's this expansive opening feeling in my shoulders, and just lightness.
Yeah.
And I feel light when I sit with my feet sticking in the water, and I feel heavy when I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah. And yeah, nature, right? The ultimate healer. Because of that, because that's family. That's our,
Yeah.
that's our home, you know, and how gracious that it constantly reminds us of that it's always there. It's like, we're just doing our thing, photosynthesizing, you know what I mean? Just being here with our mycelial network underneath all the trees and, you know, and the birds and, you know, yeah.
And I'm nothing. And I'm nothing.
You are nothing and everything.
Yeah. All at once.
We're nothing and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like a tree wouldn't say I'm nothing. Tree doesn't give a
Right.
shit. Tree is being tree.
Yeah.
Right? We are being who we are. That's the point of all of this work, is to understand that while we are one, you know, one millionth of a pinprick in the universe and all of the dimensions, that means something because we have so much power in what we contribute to the quantum field, right? So grieving, going through pain, not being able to be there for your father when you want to is real, and feeling that is real in the moment you're feeling it. Holding on to it, beating yourself up about it, that's the boulder.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. No pressure, Christina, if you don't have to contribute, but if you want to jump in, or if you want to give us an update. Yeah.
Sure. Hi, everybody. And I'm so grateful to be here with all of you, and you, Rachel, especially. I actually realized that last week I had that wonderful meditation, my higher self. And then today I realized I had forgotten all about it, and I've been full on in the, work and I was so happy to be reminded that we are meeting today, because I said, wow, I just went this whole week and like nothing. So yeah, that's been my experience for this week. And I said, okay, I'm just the kind of person, I have to keep doing things. So I'll keep showing up here, and then eventually it will percolate back down into my body. So yeah, so that's that's it.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. That's usually how it works, right? It's like, yeah, what a great meditation. Anyway, back to our regularly scheduled bullshit life. That we're not that you have a bullshit life, but like all the chazarai, that goes along with it. So beautiful. I appreciate that so much. And that's the other part. Again, I start almost every class with this. The number one thing that we promise ourselves when we do any of this work is non-judgment. Non-judgment of ourselves, non-judgment of others, non-judgment of anything. So when something comes up that goes, like, I should have done something through the week, I totally forgot, that's a judgment. So we say, I learned from that. I have a choice. I can do that again this week if I so choose, or I can maybe shift the way that I work with these meditations, or my highest self, or the gifts that I received during those meditations. That's entirely, so we don't want to have any judgment attached to it. And I will say this too, the second important thing is this is a practice, right? So you can't take one class, like if you took the original self class that I did, Self-Crafting 101 that I did back in October, that's a great start, but that doesn't mean that you're going to hold all those teachings every minute of the day. It's a practice. Each one of these classes is designed to do what you just said, Christina, which is to let it just trickle over you until it becomes part of your being, so that when you're freaked out, when you're sad, when you're in a place where you normally would distract yourself, rather than going outward, you go inward, right? I have my highest self, which is God, which is Godhead, which is Great Spirit, which is Great Mystery, whatever you want to call it. It's the same thing, which is why this work is so important. So you're never alone, and you're never without guidance at any point, right? So beautiful. I very much appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to say that I'm just grateful to be here today, because this is another, it's like creating a new neurological pathway.
Ding, ding. Yes.
Yeah.
That is what we are doing. Precisely. Thank you for pointing that out. Awesome. Good. So are we ready to dive into this week? Yeah. Okay. So some of you, I just wanted to share just one little tiny thing before we dive in, because I was sitting with this last night and I was like, I'm not sure I'm really being clear about what this week is really about. So I wanted to do that. We're working with livelihood and career, and I really want to talk about the difference between the two right now. So when we talk about a livelihood, technically, this is exactly what it means. It is a way of life or the means by which you obtain the necessities of life. That doesn't matter. So for you thinking right now, when she's talking about livelihood or versus career or whatever we're going to be working with today, what does livelihood mean to me? How do you obtain the necessities of life? If you are a traveling bard poet, you're going to be trading your poetry for wine or rice or something. You know, that's your livelihood, right? I want to move us away from necessarily the Western capitalist view of what that means. We also look at our career, and our career is a chosen pursuit and a profession, an occupation. So either one of those today is what I'd like you to focus on, and maybe they will overlap. But I think it's really important for us to discern. When I say livelihood, I'm not necessarily talking about the way by which you make money. It could be maybe you have a barter system or a trade system in your life, or how do you get the things that you need to survive, whatever those things might be, right? Your career may also be, yeah, I mean, I have a pretty good idea about what each one of you does for a living. We could be talking about that, and that's okay too. I think what's really important here is that when you go into the meditation, keep an open mind about what what's going to come to you. So I'll just give you an example of why I think what I'm thinking of when I make that discernment. So let's say I'm a teacher and I'm okay. I'm happy being a teacher. I'm not really sure if that's my calling in life for my career. There are things that I love to do that maybe could help contribute to my household, but I think of them more as hobbies, or maybe more of a thing that maybe leaning more toward a livelihood situation rather than a career job. So when I go into this meditation, I'm going to kind of be open to whatever I receive. And I know this is very nebulous, but that's kind of the point, is that if I give you too much, then I don't want to dictate your journey, right? Is everybody clear on that difference? So yeah, it could be either of the two. I don't know. So I guess I'm clear. The computer is clear. Good. Now, having said that, as a caveat, if you are curious about new pathways for a career, if your purpose is, I want to make money this year, I want to really establish myself in my business, fine, use the meditation for that. There's going to be plenty of wiggle room. I just don't want people to feel like this week is all about making money or all about living the American dream, which the best quote about that is George Carlin. They call it the American dream because you have to be asleep to believe it. Love it. So, we're not heading in that direction. This is not a marketing week. This is what am I being called to do to bring me what I need in my life? Yes? Okay. Beautiful. So any questions before we begin? Now, we're not getting cozy yet. There's one thing I need you to do in your notebooks before we go on the journey. You're going to take something with you. Oops. Erica, can I share? Yeah, I mean, out loud. Erica says she has a great uncle who wrote some jokes for George Carlin. Your great uncle is now my hero for the day. Just saying. Love George Carlin. That is awesome. Wonderful. So it's in your blood. Beautiful. So get your notebooks, and the first thing that we're going to do before we go on our journey today, which the title of this journey is Peddler's Village. And so we're going to be doing some commerce, in a way, spiritual commerce with our highest self today. So before we go, I'd like you, and take a minute, this is not a quiz, take a moment to write your intention for this journey. Again, it could be something about, I need clarity on livelihood, or I'd like to step away from being so obsessed with money and career, and I want to open myself to other possibilities. It could be, I really do want to focus on my career and hone it and make it where, head it in the direction I need to head it in. Whatever that is, what's your intention for this journey? So I'm going to give you like 30 seconds or to a minute to think about that and jot that down. And just put your hand up when you're done so that I know everybody's done. Okay. Ready to travel. Awesome. Okay. Beautiful. All right, good. So now it's cozy time. So go ahead and get yourself nestled in. I'm going to get us all set up here. Okay, so let's begin. As always, just nestle in wherever you are, whether you're sitting, whether you're lying down. Begin to feel in your body the presence of what is around you. Feel your body heavy, getting heavy on the mattress or the pillows or the mat. Allowing your breath to begin to move effortlessly. Long, slow, and deep breaths. Now consciously take a long, slow, deep breath in through your nose till your lungs are full, and hold for 3 seconds and exhale. Once again, long, slow, deep breath in through your nose. And hold for 3 seconds and exhale. Good. One more time, and inhale, holding the breath for 3 seconds. And exhale. As you exhale, release any tension that you're feeling in your body now. And as your breath resumes, let it move throughout your body, soothing, calming, releasing. Feel how nice it is to breathe. Letting the world around you fade away. leaving anything distracting you at the edge, knowing you can pick it up as soon as you are done. But this time is for you, giving yourself that gift. Now again, focusing your attention on the darkness behind your eyelids, the inner space. Breathing slow, and allow yourself to dive into that space. Flying, diving, floating, whatever is right for you. Just enjoy the feeling of being weightless. Breathing and feeling completely safe and free. Your physical body now merging with all around it, your cells dissipating as you flow and move through this beautiful space, becoming one with everything around you. And as you look into the darkness ahead of you, coming into view is a mystical forest. You can't wait to get to it. It moves closer as you move closer to it, standing now at the very edge, and the air is filled with a sense of wonder and anticipation. As you take your first step into the forest, a soft glow envelops you and guides you deeper into this magical realm. Inhale the enchantment of this forest and exhale any lingering thoughts. Take a moment to wander through this forest. What makes it enchanting for you? Allow that enchantment to envelop you, to hold you on this journey. Walking further into the woods, you see a clearing with a small dwelling, and you know this is where your highest self is waiting for you. So go to the dwelling, and as you do, notice from the outside what it looks like. Learn its detail. The dwelling itself is inviting you in. And as you go to the door, you're met by your highest self. A beautiful reunion. You're happy to see each other. And your highest self tells you that there's a special journey that they'd like to take you on now. The two of you walk through this mystical forest together. Your highest self by your side, that radiant being filled with wisdom and love. And presently, you come upon a second clearing. Before you stands a vibrant, bustling village. And this village is filled with whimsical shops and colorful market stalls. This is the peddler's village. Take a moment to enjoy the hustle and bustle, the people, the sights and sounds. And as you walk with your highest self, you begin to pay attention to the shops that line this dusty road. Allow your curiosity to lead you to a quaint shop that calls out to you. You see that this shop has a sign hanging above the door that reads, "The Shop of Infinite Possibilities." Intrigued, you and your highest self step inside and feel the welcoming atmosphere. You find yourself surrounded by shelves filled with unique items. Take a moment to notice them. Perhaps pick a few up. What speaks to you? The shopkeeper appears and smiles warmly as you and your highest self approach. You engage in a conversation with the shopkeeper, seeking guidance on the best livelihood or career for you. The shopkeeper listens, nods his head, and your highest self stands beside you. Both of their presences amplifying the sense of clarity and purpose that you've come for. You reach into your pocket and take out a piece of parchment paper on which you've written your intention for this journey. You hand it to your highest self, who reads it, smiles knowingly, and slides it across the counter to the shopkeeper. The shopkeeper also smiles knowingly and slips into the back room. Now you and your highest self have a moment to continue meandering about the shop. Only this time, you're drawn to one particular item. Go to it. Remove it from the shelf. And take it to the front. And just as you do, the shopkeeper returns from the back and sees that you have this item in your hand. You place it on the counter, and the shopkeeper says, "Ah, I had a feeling you would select just that thing." The shopkeeper has your piece of paper and gives it back to you. But you open it to find something else written inside. And somehow it seems to correlate perfectly with the item that you selected. Take a moment now to read what is on that paper from the shopkeeper. As you've finished reading, the shopkeeper lifts the item that you've selected. This symbolic item related to your passion and your talent, and hands it to your highest self. And within the hands of your highest self, that item begins to glow, imbued with the magic and majesty of your true nature, of your true purpose, of your serving yourself and others in your life, through the work that you do, through the craft that you create. Still glowing, the item is placed in your bag, and you know you can take it with you. It will always be with you. Take a moment to absorb this guidance and care, the loving insight you received from both the shopkeeper and your highest self. And as you and your highest self exit the shop, taking good care to give gratitude and thanks to the shopkeeper, turn to your highest self now and ask for any further insight or wisdom about your next steps. Listen to the profound guidance they offer, knowing it comes from a place of deep understanding and love. You and your highest self now return to the magical forest, and your highest self bids you goodbye for now as you step to the edge of the forest and back into inner space. Feeling your body returning to itself. Bringing your awareness back to the present moment. Feeling the ground beneath you and the air around you. Wiggling your fingers and toes. And when you're ready, taking a nice deep breath in and out, and open your eyes. Just making sure everyone is back. As usual, I'll be quiet for about, we'll do maybe 5-7 minutes of writing this time. And then we'll check in. Okay, if anybody needs more time, just let me know. Okay, beautiful. So we're coming up to 2 o'clock and I'm aware of the time. If people can stay, I'll stay as long as is needed, but if anybody needs to leave and would like to share, please be the first to step up. And yeah, anyone? Go ahead, Erica.
Okay. So I loved that shop of possibilities. That felt really lovely. um, and I just, in brief, will share that I was drawn to a crystal wand that was on the shelf. And what became clearer in myself, and then also with the shopkeeper and higher self, was that I need to be more directed with my energies and efforts and how I support people, and in where I'm putting my energy and time and focus. And the slip of paper that was returned to me that had changed from the shopkeeper had the essence of more specifically and carefully selecting what I do and how I help people. So that was a definite interesting theme. More strongly directed energies was also phrasing that came out of that. And the wand can help me direct that. So yeah, and it was neat to a friend who very close friend of mine who died a few years ago now, was very strong in that presence and selection, and it didn't occur until later. Like, she loved wands. In fact, I gifted her a few crystal wands in our long-term friendship. So yeah, so it's just sweet. It gave me more. I want to go back into this because I feel like there's more. So yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. What if you don't mind sharing, and you can certainly not share, but what had you written on the paper before
Mhm.
the shopkeeper took it?
Yeah, I had said, make what I love to do more livable and amenable to spaciousness, balance, and health on all levels.
Right. And then the response was to be more focused.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I
Because you
know.
use the word spacious, right?
Yeah.
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 Like, maybe you can't do everything.
I
Maybe.
know, it's coming up so much these days.
But
Yeah.
there's something to be said too for spaciousness being internal,
Hmm.
right? And so
Yeah.
whatever it is that using that discernment, and I love the crystal wand. I'm going to talk about that in a second, but the magic of that, but
Mhm.
the internal spaciousness allowing
Yeah.
you to discern where does that energy get directed, right?
Yeah.
And the wand can help point in that direction, right? Where
Definitely.
and
Yeah.
crystals are amplifiers, as you know. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, just
Yeah. Thank you.
to be able to do that. Um, just a curiosity about how did it feel reuniting with your highest self for this journey?
Very sweet. Like, oh hi. She always has seemed to me lately like she's kind of the life that I would be living without these like humanly earthly constraints. Like, I loved the cottage where she was living too, and just like,
Mhm.
she has long flowy hair. She wears a lot of flowy things, and it's just very light and wise and maybe possible, but right now feels just still kind of out there, but just a really good, yeah, visiting. So
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point too. So when we talk about integrating, Right. So I'll ask you from the practical perspective of this meditation, what are some ideas that you might have, just brainstorming, what are some ideas you have about how you can integrate the message you received from the shopkeeper and the blessing of the wand from your highest self? What are some things that you can do today or now or start to do differently?
Yeah, I think the two first things that come to mind are giving myself some time to just sit with some of my favorite tools, like crystals, tarot cards, and I've been doing so many readings lately for others, and just to sit and maybe unfold that with myself and reflect, because that is one of my dear things to do. And then also just to sit more practically and logically with all the things that I do currently offer through my primary work and business, and what do I really want to do moving forward? And where do I get the most joy? Because I'm really just stretched out, and I own that, just doing a lot of different things that I love. It's like choosing your favorite child, it's like but I need to, it's just coming up here in other ways too. So it needs my attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, when we apply that non-judgment part to it,
Right.
we
Right.
can say, well, yeah, you have a lot of things that you love.
Hmm.
So perhaps rather than just randomly choosing what are the things that how do I, how do I be more selective and more directed in my energies? Maybe letting the moment discern that for you. So
Yeah.
being open to all of the things, but only doing, where that wand directs you,
I like that.
in a moment.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to make a grand sweeping, okay, I'm going to get rid of this and I'm going to do that, which is ego organization,
Right.
is compressing. If you love what you do, then you will do all the things, but perhaps it's a matter of being listening to when you're being called to do those things.
That's what's really clear in this moment with you. Yeah, thank you for that, because it doesn't mean other guidance or other ideas have been, well, you have to give up something, or, and maybe I get to decide more of in a timing way, like I do this twice a year, or I, do this on, yeah. No, I'm hearing that very loudly and differently, and I appreciate that. Thank you, because that's a really clear, haven't thought about it in that way moment. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
And thanks to the rest of you for witnessing too. Yeah, thank you.
And
Thank you.
just absolutely, and this is for you to take it away, and even further, the visiting higher self, the visiting highest self, we want her to be embodied.
Yeah.
We and again, no judgment, right? But the idea is for you, for the highest self, not necessarily to be this other, but to recognize her as you. So just having some fun with it. What are some things that you can do to bring her into your body, into your life right now?
Is that meant to be rhetorical? I'm writing that down
Wasn't
because I want to sit.
rhetorical, but
I
take
want to
your
sit
time
with it.
writing it.
I
You're
want to
like,
sit
that
with
sounds
it.
rhetorical. But
I
yeah,
lo-
it could be, and maybe you don't have an answer for that.
yeah, I want to sit with that and with her a little bit too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, oh crap, wait, how do I?
Right.
But
And so what is it that's going to uh what can you bring into this realm that lets you know she's with you, she's part of you in this iteration, in this energetic iteration we call our physical bodies, right?
Mm,
So, whatever that looks like to you, so that she's not feeling like an other, but actually
yes.
part of who you are. Yeah. Beautiful.
Thank you for that. No, I'm really taking that in. I love it, and I'm writing because I want to. That's such a great assignment
Yeah.
and
We'll see
question.
next week if you have any answers to that. No pressure, of course.
Thank you.
This is all on its own time, right?
Yeah.
So whenever I say, we're going to check in, it doesn't mean you have to do anything. It just, we'll see where you are.
Yeah, I love it.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Erica.
Thank you. Yeah.
Would anyone else like to share their experience? Yeah, go ahead. Christina, whoever was first. I think I saw Christina's hand first, but go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, I'm on. There we go. Um, I had a little hard time staying in the meditation, but it was like that one of the, I mean, you should like record these for us to buy or something so we can listen to them again and again. Um, your meditations are wonderful. But anyway, what did I want to say about it? I loved meeting my higher self again, and I love this question that you posed about how can I bring my higher self into my realm more. I'm also going to ponder that and think about that. Because as I walk through the woods with my higher self next to me, going towards the town, the peddler's village, it was incredible. It was like her energies, and her gown was part of her, and her energies were like everything was just expanding and contracting, and I was part of that. And I was like, wow, like we're part of everything. And so in that moment in the meditation, I really felt that, and I'd like to explore that, more of that. But what I picked out in the store was a crystal ball, which I thought seemed, my what do you call it? I guess my conscious mind was saying, "Oh, that's so like a crystal ball." Ugh, what's up with that? But I put that aside, and because I love crystal balls, but I was judging myself. Um, and it was really pretty, and I kind of secretly, I guess I've always wanted a crystal ball to just look at. Um, and my intention, um, it was funny, I wasn't having clarity. So I said, okay, my intention is going to be around clarity around what I do. That's just what I wrote. Even though I do love what I do, um, I haven't been able to build my practice or expand my practice because I'm so busy with my mom, and that's okay, I think. I think I'm coming to terms with that being okay for now. Um, and the message I received around that was self-love and no, like KNWO, no. Um, so yeah. So I mean, self-love's kind of self-explanatory. Like I need to use my self-love more for myself and just know that I'm in the right place, I guess. I'm doing the right thing for now. Um, it's kind of just being in this, just being. It's kind of similar to the message I got last week, I think, about just being. So that's it for now.
Thank you. So maybe a crystal ball is in your future.
I know.
Did you see Erica is holding up her crystal ball? Could you show that again? Hang on a second.
I wanted to, so a friend gifted this to me last Christmas,
Wow.
and it's been so fun. It's such a focuser, and it's great for scrying if you've ever done, just to focus. But I want to say a public service message because I did not know this. I actually have it under something because direct sunlight will refract through and can possibly start a fire. Like you just want to be really aware. In Colorado, the sun is really intense and my crystals will but this, I'm just like, I learned that. I didn't know that. But aside from that, that's not to create fear, but it's really been amazing. Like I have a freaking crystal ball and I love it. So I support you, Christina and Lorena. If this speaks to, it's just so fun. Do you have one, Rachel? Like it's just, I never had one.
I don't have a crystal ball. I have little gem balls, but I don't
Right,
have a crystal
crystals,
one.
like
Yeah.
all the things, right? They're all very, they can serve that purpose. There's something kind of more woo about
Yeah,
this. So
yeah. I'm gonna have
I
to get one
support
of
that.
them.
It's
Well,
fun.
Christina, you'll have to go. Oh, look. Okay, so Lorena's got her.
Oh,
Is that
awesome,
agate?
Lorena.
What is that?
Yeah.
Agate?
That looks like green moss agate. Is that
It's Labradorite.
Oh my goodness, that's powerful. B.
I use it on the dark moon.
Yes.
Yeah,
Wow, that's really
love it.
powerful. That big chunk of labradorite. Oh
It's
my
huge.
God.
Yeah.
That's
But I've wanted a crystal ball for quite a while now. So yeah, I feel like this is a message.
beautiful. Wow. Sharing crystals. I'm not in front of my altar, unfortunately, so I can't show you my collection. But so Christina, back to Christina. Yeah, so maybe we got like what, two crystal shops in Nyack here. You got to come all over and get yourself a crystal ball. You're being called. Um and okay, and but I wanted to talk about um you're feeling part of everything. And that's so important, right? Because that's part of what the highest self is sharing and teaching is that reminder that you are not separate from the majesty of everything around us. And so when we apply that to your work, which I know you love and you're very, very good at, I can attest to that, then what you might be being called to do is um, go deeper within it, that one with everything message of, when you're working with your clients, when you're working with their bodies and doing a little bit of that kind of merging with them, and not taking on the pain, but because you're a professional, you know what I'm talking about. But that idea of what really struck me is yeah, clarity about what you do and how to um go deeper in what you're already doing, right? I think that's the knowing part.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I realized I didn't mention this, but when I was thinking about the self-love and know, it was use my knowledge and wisdom to help others, which I feel like I do, but I think you're right. There's something a little bit deeper or a different, maybe like a crystal ball, looking at it in a different way somehow that I can bring to my work. Maybe using more intuition
Mhm. Yeah. And
or
again, the
trusting my intuition.
yeah. Yeah, knowing, right? It's not a belief in it, it's a knowledge, right? We don't believe in the thing, we know the thing. It's embodied. And the crystal, again, is an amplifier. The quartz crystal is an amplifier. So having that, maybe even work with it on in this realm. I don't mean to say that we have to take every symbol that we get in a journey as we have to bring it into our physical realm. Sometimes it can stay in the metaphysical realm, but sometimes it's kind of cool to bring that memory in. And also, for example, how do we bring our highest self into this realm so that she's with us all the time, right? So um whether that means buying a flowing scarf or whether that means, wearing something she would wear or eating something she would eat, um, making an offering, having a special section on your altar to yourself. Remember, this is your highest self is not a deity far away from you. It is your true nature without all the crap attached to it, right? It's the part of you that's connected to source. So, so yeah, leaning into the higher self, and that's the self-love, right? The intuition and the trust, um, and the knowing. You got this. You're firm in this, and you are a healer, Christina. So own that, you know? So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Lorena, would you like to share?
Yeah, if there's time. I don't want to take people over, and I took a lot of time at the beginning, but
Mm-mm.
I want to say that everything that was shared actually by Erica and Christina seems to have kind of like helped make a little more sense around my journey, because it was normally these things come through very, very clear to me, and I come out of it with a very clear message, and it was just crazy muddled. My higher self looked like the witch and Sleeping Beauty's castle thing. She had like the eye and the big nose and gnarly, and I was like, wow, okay, hi. And so we went on this journey, and I ended up in this it was a store my dad used to take me into, which was really quite interesting. And I got a knife, which I have on my altar, which I really couldn't make much sense of. And then when I got the paperback, it was just diagrams that looked like it had been written out by the knife, and it was kind of like, you know, like parchment, like Egyptian hieroglyphs. It made zero sense to me whatsoever. So it was just all crazy, crazy muddled. I kept kind of like changing it into a chalice. But essentially, I felt like that was like me kind of interjecting me into it. But after listening to everybody, I'm like, I am me. And it just reiterates this continual process of I want the messages to come from outside of myself. I want somebody else to tell me my truth when I already know it. And so my question was, what are the pragmatic, practical steps, and what should my offering look like to the world? So I was asking for that guidance. And what I feel like the answer I got was, duh, you already know. And just trust your gut, Christina, and intuition. And that's kind of what I feel like I've circled back around to. But I feel like I need to kind of go through it again.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, the presence of your highest self, uh, in that form, the Baba Yaga, the crone.
She felt really good.
Yeah, man. And that might be it, you know, that might be what she needed to be for this journey,
Yeah.
right? Um, for your wisdom self, for your elder self, the medicine woman, right? The witch is a medicine woman.
Yeah.
It's just the fairy tales that make us, oh, she's got a crooked nose and wrinkles and ew. But in fact, we know better as women that that is a sign of maturity and knowledge and wisdom. So there she was guiding you into this special shop. The knife
Yeah.
too, and the diagrams that you said were made, could it could you recall it now? Because it might be something you want to draw. I know you draw, so and doodle and things like that. Maybe
Yeah.
remember it to
I
draw.
couldn't, it was like it, and I feel I was interrupted, and then the dog jumped up, and I feel like it was just like there was just like this constant interruption, and I feel like that's kind of like what my life has been, and I just feel like it was a microcosm of a macrocosm.
Yeah.
And so it was that continual reinforcing the message of going back to your internal knowing, that tuning into the intuition to stop questioning self. And maybe that's the blurry message, right? It's like, haha, we're not giving it to you. We're not doing that. We're not continuing that illusion of the answer is outside of yourself. We're forcing you to take the time to sit down and to interpret what we gave you, because the answer is coming from inside yourself.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And you can interpret that. Let me ask you this part. symbolically, I know you have this in real life, but symbolically, what is a knife to you?
A tool. So it felt very much like, and I mean, that is what I do in my work, in my calling, is pragmatic, practical tools that people can apply in their life to help shift dynamics that they're frustrated with. And so that really felt, and I've read the Miss of Avalon over and over and over again throughout my life. And so that is a very deeply, profoundly symbolic, actually, that's interesting too. Symbolic movement from maiden, or crone. Yeah. And I can just really see that movement through my life as well.
Yeah.
So that really ties into that for me. Absolutely.
Right. And something that came to me, and I don't know if this resonates with you or not, but a knife slices through things.
Yeah.
Right. There's so this idea of let's slice through the self-doubt or the questioning or the pragmatic might not be what you need right now. It's the more free-flowing intuition, and that the knife is there to eliminate what you don't need,
to cut through those things. Yeah. The cutting the cord as well. I feel like in my father passing, there's a very deep cord. I've been corded to his inability to have fruition in his life around a lot of different things, and I feel like there's almost been like a fear of usurping him, of not going past him, and so I feel like there might be some ritual around cord cutting in that way, in terms of releasing my soul's journey with him on that, and allowing myself some freedom to kind of fully step into my power as an individual.
Yeah. And that's beautiful, and a way to honor him and take your birthright,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which he would like nothing more.
Even better. Yeah. Again, my heart,
Thank you.
that
Yeah.
But this is part of that work, right? And having your highest self moving you through it, feeling what you feel and going through what you need to go through. Purpose. What Ram Dass talks about, productive versus unproductive grief, right? So having as productive as we can, what can we do with this? Feel it and have all those feelings that we're supposed to have. We have to have. We can't bypass, right?
Yeah. You have well equipped me for the process. I have got to tell you, I'm so grateful for my ability to move through those feelings, and it is absolutely because of your guidance. So I am eternally grateful for that.
Wow, it's beautiful it's beautiful to hear, but it's beautiful to know that you believe and know in your own strength, and that you're always held. And you're held by us here. You're held by the women that are sitting circle with you, or square, as it would be. But that where all our energy is, and that we're holding you to.
I truly feel it. I really, really do. I'm so honored. Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. And again, the how we process. So I was going to pointedly ask you, Lorena, how will you integrate what you have learned, but you answered that question. So I just want to make sure that we're not just having a good time and meeting our higher self and getting a drink at the tavern, but we are actually taking the messages, because they are there for a reason. Lorena, you said something that was, to me, really important to come back to, which is, whether you're manipulating a vision or a journey. And the truth is that whatever you are called to in that moment is making itself known for a reason. So chalice may mean something to you now. That may be part of the ritual you use for your father, or for the sipping and whatever.
I
Yeah.
want to have parties.
Yeah.
I want to have parties where we talk. We have a drink. I call it a flamingo. It's champagne and grapefruit juice. And I want to talk about relationships in a party. And that's it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love it. That's great.
Yeah.
So again, we are all working on our livelihoods and or our careers in this particular journey. And I hope that you got a little bit of some insight about where you all can head in that direction, And again, this is just the beginning, right? I wish we had hours and hours. We could spend several weeks on just this, but this is only a 4-week thing. But that means you are able to do this, and you have the recordings, and of course I will include the audio of the meditations as well. So you can do them whenever you want, right? Okay, beautiful. Any other thoughts before we release for the week? No. Okay. Well, I send my love and thanks and gratitude to all of you and your highest selves, and play with them this week and do something to bring her closer to you and bring her into your daily life. That's your assignment, and we'll check in next week.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Good luck.
you.
Bye.
Bye.